In 2018, the Phoenix Suns had a huge decision to make. They held the #1 pick in the draft, something that doesn't come around often. On one side, there was Deandre Ayton, a 7-footer from Arizona who looked like a future star. On the other hand, there was Luka Dončić, a 19-year-old from Europe who'd already been dominating professional leagues overseas. To make things more interesting, the Suns had just hired a coach who actually worked with Dončić on the Slovenian national team. So, naturally, everyone thought Dončić would be the guy, but he wasn't. The Suns picked Ayton, and right away, that decision became one of the most talked about moves in recent NBA history. It wasn't that Ayton was bad, far from it. He came in and put up solid numbers. By his third year, he was averaging a double-double on crazy efficiency. He shot over 62% from the field and was quietly doing better than some of the league's top centers in terms of scoring efficiency. He wasn't loud, but he was reliable. Then Chris Paul joined the team, and everything changed. Paul brought discipline, he pushed Ayton, and for a while, it seemed to work. Ayton began to resemble the ideal big man to anchor the Suns' defense and finish plays on offense. He wasn't just catching lobs. He had a soft touch, a decent mid-range jumper, and moved well for his size. With Paul running the point and Ayton holding it down in the paint, Phoenix suddenly looked dangerous. In 2021, it all came together. The Suns made it to the NBA Finals and took a 2-0 lead against Milwaukee. The dream was alive. But then Giannis Antetokounmpo turned into a wrecking ball. He averaged 35 points a game and dropped 50 in the title-clinching Game 6. Just like that, the Suns' magical run was over. And even though Ayton played well at times, the team as a whole couldn't stop Giannis. But the Suns didn't fold. They came back the next season and won a franchise record 64 games. Things were still looking up, until they ran into Luka Dončić. This is where everything started to unravel. In the 2022 Western Conference semifinals, the Suns were heavily favored. But Luka had other plans. He destroyed Phoenix. He scored at will, made it look personal, and capped it all off with a blowout win in Game 7 that left the Suns stunned on their home floor. The team didn't just lose, they collapsed. And all of a sudden, Ayton found himself in the middle of the storm. During that Game 7, Ayton only played 17 minutes. Afterward, head coach Monty Williams offered no real explanation, just a short comment. "It's internal." That one sentence said a lot. Rumors quickly spread that Ayton had refused to re-enter the game. Whether or not that's entirely true, the damage was done. The relationship between Ayton and the coaching staff, especially Williams, began to fray, and it only worsened. That offseason was messy. Ayton was up for a new contract, and there was debate over whether he was worth a max deal. The Suns didn't offer it, but the Indiana Pacers did. Ayton signed a 4-year, $133 million offer sheet with them. And for a moment, it looked like he was gone. Then, at the last minute, Phoenix matched it. Ayton stayed, but it didn't feel like anyone was really celebrating. Behind the scenes, it was apparent. The trust was gone. Ayton didn't feel appreciated. The coaching staff didn't seem eager to rebuild things. Even some teammates reportedly blamed Monty Williams for not resolving the issues. The vibes were off, and when that happens, it usually doesn't end well. In September 2023, the end finally came. The Suns traded Ayton to the Portland Trail Blazers in a big deal that brought back Jusuf Nurkic. It was supposed to be a fresh start for everyone. But if Phoenix thought they were upgrading, they were in for a surprise. Nurkic didn't solve anything. Injuries, slower movement, and inconsistent defense made him a worse fit than Ayton ever was. The Suns kept scrambling to fill the center spot. Eventually, they traded Nurkic and brought in Nick Richards. He was solid, grabbed rebounds, finished plays, but he wasn't a game changer. The team's search for a reliable big man continued into the draft, where they picked up young prospects like Mark Williams and Kaman Malawak, hoping one of them could finally lock down the paint for good. Meanwhile, in Portland, Ayton had a new opportunity to show who he really was. He started strong, averaging 16.7 points and 11.1 rebounds in his first year. The numbers were there. He became the first player since Dwight Howard to average a double-double in each of his first 7 seasons. But if you looked deeper, the impact wasn't what it seemed. The Trailblazers actually played better, both on offense and defense, when Ayton was off the court. That's not what you want from your starting center. 1 free throw attempt per game, limited aggression, questionable effort. It started to feel familiar. Off the court, things weren't much better. Reports surfaced about Ayton being late to team events, skipping rehab sessions, and even throwing tantrums in the locker room. Fans in Portland started booing when he came out of games. Some within the organization said it wasn't just bad play, it was a result of bad habits. Then, in early 2024, Ayton made a comment that raised eyebrows. He said he had nothing to prove, that he was still a max player, no matter what people thought. It didn't land well. And not long after, Portland bought him out. The buyout was massive, not just financially, but symbolically. Portland paid Ayton $25.5 million to part ways with the team. He gave up over $10 million of his remaining salary. Neither side really wanted to keep going. Trade talks had failed. No one wanted to take on that contract. The Blazers didn't want to commit to more bad money, so they cut ties. Now, Ayton was a free agent. No team, no guarantees, just questions. Was this the end of his prime? Was he misunderstood? Or was this just a case of wasted potential? Here's the thing, Ayton still has talent. That's not in question. He's still 7 feet tall, still has excellent touch around the rim, still rebounds well, and when locked in, he can be a force on defense. And there were flashes, real ones. In one game against Atlanta, he dropped 33 points on 15 of 20, shooting with 19 rebounds. Just days after returning from a hand injury, he was putting up dominant numbers: 26 points, 17 rebounds, 3 straight games with 20 and 15. He even joked about it, saying, "People laugh at it, but I'm dominating. That's just facts." And maybe he's right. When Ayton decides to go all in, he looks like a top-tier center. But the problem has never been ability. It's been consistent. Effort, mindset. Coaches and teammates have said it for years. When Ayton is engaged, he changes the game. But when he's not, you notice. The fans have noticed too. From Phoenix to Portland, people wanted more. They saw the flashes and waited for the follow-through. But something always seemed to get in the way. Sometimes there was tension with the coaches. Other times, it was body language, or just going quiet in big moments. Now that he's a free agent, Ayton's next step could go in any direction. Perhaps a fresh environment with exemplary leadership can help him reset. Maybe he joins a contender where he doesn't have to be the centerpiece. Or maybe he takes a more minor role on a young team and works his way back the hard way. One thing's for sure, he's running out of chances. Ayton is only 26. There's time. But the NBA moves fast, and reputations stick. GMS, don't forget. Coaches talk. If Ayton wants to change the narrative, he's going to have to prove it. Not with interviews, not with stats, but with how he plays, how he works, and how he shows up every single day. There's still a version of Ayton that could be great. The one who anchored a finals team. The one who looked like a star when paired with Chris Paul. The one who went toe-to-toe with Nikola Jokic and held his own. That version still exists. But unlocking it takes more than talent. It takes buy-in. Because the truth about Deandre Ayton isn't that he failed. It's that he's been stuck somewhere in the middle. Too good to ignore, not consistent enough to trust. Teams want to believe in him. Fans want to believe in him. And maybe, deep down, he wants to believe in himself too. The question is, will he? The buyout was a turning point for Deandre Ayton. Portland paid $25 million just to make him go away. Ayton gave up $10 million to leave too. That wasn't a breakup. That was a mutual surrender. Around the league, teams took notice. Ayton still has size, skill, and a solid resume. But now he's not seen as a franchise cornerstone. He's seen as a gamble. That's what makes this next chapter so important. Ayton's future will depend on how he responds. He's still just 26, still capable of double-doubles, still physically gifted. But questions about his focus and effort haven't gone away. Too often, he disappears. Too often, he plays like someone who doesn't feel the urgency. If Ayton wants another real shot, he'll have to prove he's changed. Teams won't hand him the keys. He'll need to earn minutes, embrace smaller roles, and do the dirty work. Hard screens, box outs, hustle plays. The kinds of things that don't show up on highlight reels, but win respect. He could bounce back. Players like Dwight Howard, Brook Lopez, and Andrew Wiggins all reinvented themselves when no one expected it. Ayton can too, if he buys in. Fans are split. Some still believe he has more to give. Others think he's peaked. But everyone agrees the ball is in his court now. Because the hard truth about Deandre Ayton isn't that he failed. It's that he hasn't become the player people once thought he could be. Not yet. But if he wants to change that, this is his moment.